welcome to another edition of our online class. And today we want to really talk about something I feel that is very important, which has to do with inverters and the UPS mode. Now, I saw somebody complain, he was complaining about some client that he can't spend that much money on inverter, but we must understand that inverter is expensive. Trying to get a whole lot, maybe you're having a very big wide range of load. Let's assume you have 6 air conditions in your house and you decide to use inverter for those air conditions. So you need nothing less than, let's assume you're using a 20 kVA or a 25 or any of those kVAs, but nothing less than 20 kVA inverter to even think of powering that AC, those ACs, the 6 numbers. But you can imagine the cost of trying to power 6 ACs and having the backup system for those ACs. I'll tell you, it's quite a lot. So most of these clients, they decide to just tell you, okay, can we have just 2 ACs out of the 6? Well, I'll say, okay, fine. Instead of me getting a 20 kVA or a 25 kVA, I can just get maybe a 10 kVA inverter that will be able to power just 2 ACs at a go. Now, most installers, when you're having to do this, because you don't understand what load shedding is, you just go there, you fix your inverter and you connect. There you have a changeover on the board there. You put one part of it, you say this is NEPA, and you put the other one, you say this is an inverter. No, that is very wrong. It is very wrong. It is because why did I say it's wrong? At night, with the kind of power we have here, especially in Nigeria, you can imagine power going off and on and maybe like in 3 hours, you have power off on maybe 2-3 times. And as you are asleep at night, you begin to wake up to say, okay, fine, because you don't want excess load to that inverter, because most times what they say to you is, okay, fine, when there is power outage, please turn off all other inverters you don't want on all other ACs you don't want on that inverter. Then maybe those loads are turned off, the excess load, then you go there, you switch to inverter. This is somebody who was actually asleep. You get up from your bed, even while you're asleep, you go do all of that, then you start trying to catch up to the sleep that you just have to got off from. Now, instead of having that, so they tell you, okay, when you turn off those loads, you can now go there, turn the AC on with the changeover for you to use. No. The UPS mode is there for you to achieve all that. But because you don't understand how you do the load separation, how you make sure that it is only the load, the 2 ACs and the other loads that you have on that, you just assume they should have it on changeover. This is why we're having this topic, why we're having this very training. So if you don't understand how to do that, this very training will teach you how to get that done. So immediately those 2 ACs are connected, anytime there is power outage, you need not to wake up from your bed or get up from your bed to go change over to inverter. It switches automatically and only those loads turns on. The other ones, they stay fallow until there is power restoration. When power is restored, then the other ones comes up. So I know you're interested. You want to understand how this is done. Why not join me now? Go with me, even as you get to the classroom, to talk about this very topic, which is of great essence to you as an installer and you as a final user.
All right. Here I'll be explaining the connection for what you use your changeover for. The changeover you'll be having here, this very one, is only to switch between a bypass and the inverter. You see, now the top side, that's going to be for the bypass, the bottom is going to be for inverter. Not like the regular ones that most installers they do. They say the top side is for the grid. That's when there's power, when power is restored, while the bottom is for inverter. No, because imagine somebody is asleep. You wake up from your bed. You can't be changing over from grid, that's the grid, to your inverter. No. But this very one, maybe you have, if it's there at the bottom is going to be for inverter, while the top is going to be for a bypass. The bypass is only used when there is fault with the inverter. So this inverter, actually the cable from the bottom side comes from the load output of the inverter. The output from the load output, yes, comes from that output to this very changeover. So this is the other one that goes to the top. From here, the output of this, all right, when it's closed, it goes up here to the DB, and this is what feeds every of the cable will be shedding off from the main supply there. So whenever there's power supply and power outage, immediately the inverter is on, you don't need to come here to be changing over, switch between maybe like you see always NEPA or they say grid and inverter. So even if you are asleep, you can continue with your sleep. Those devices or those items on the inverter will turn on immediately without overloading your inverter. So we'll be coming up with the other part of this video.
All right. Right now, I'll say we're done with the connection of the bypass for the inverter. Okay. Looking at the DB, it means every other thing here remains the same. Power comes in, but the only part left now is for us to separate this load. I'll be turning on the gen shortly. Where we do that. So from this breaker, should be taking off the load that we want to be on the inverter. This is the inverter output. Inverter output came all the way from here to this part, which is here. This is inverter and this is bypass. So anytime this inverter, you want to bypass, you don't want to use this at all for anything. You just put it up so you still have supply to the main building, supplies to the load. This is the load. And the cable from here, these two came from the output of the inverter. Why this is from the DB, so this is just income to this place. Is from here will also feed the charging. So anytime you have this one on this place, which supplies directly bypasses the inverter. So it means anytime we want to use a generator, this remains here. So immediately it starts your generator, start charging this one, because from here there is supply to the charger of the inverter. So I think this is just what I told you. I talked about it. I said most guys, they begin to put up for NEPA, down for inverter. No, that's not what we're having here. So we'll be doing the load shedding now, where this one feeds all the load from the DB. We'll be right back. Okay, this part, this is where we're concerned about now. So the load shedding, what I'm going to do is going to take off all these other cables from the DB. Okay. This is the fridge. This is the fridge supply is here. So we need this one with the inverter. All these other ones. And this. Okay. I have all terminals. They are all the DB. So now I can put them back on. Okay, now maybe the generator. So at the long run, we'll have those things. Let them put those switches off. All those switches, they can take them off now. So all these are the cables that are going to the inverter. So with this, it's not overloaded. You don't need to. You don't have an inverter overloaded. All these are the heavy stuff. So what they need to do now is to go switch off. You can turn go switch off all the socket for the water heater. Now we're going to identify. These are all the lightings and the fridge in the house. These are the cables. So we're going to put all these cables together and have them connected to this one. This is the inverter output. So you have all these things to the inverter. So even if there is power, if power comes in, you don't need to come change over to say we change to inverter. It switches on its own. If power goes out, or inverter takes over immediately.
So this is what I was talking about, that you understand about having an inverter work on the UPS mode, not where you can't change from grid and you don't need to come here to come switch it off and on.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and turn on your notification button so that whenever we post any of our video, you'll be notified. Do have a nice day. Bye for now.
I'm the rat guy, call me Slim Shady.